like, especially the guys that come in and go, how do you know all the answers? I go, I don't fucking know all the answers. I just know all your answers.
Yeah.
Because I've already been down the path that you're going down.
Yeah, I need a bag, bruh. Send it through quickly. I'm making his dog like I'm in the big leagues. Yeah, I told him I'ma hit it out of stands. I deserve another 100.
Welcome to another episode of the Married Game Podcast, where the voice you trust when it comes to lust. We are who you hire when she lacks desire. When a feline is mad, it starts to hiss. But what happened this morning? I got a surprise kiss.
Wow.
So I'm working on my inner child, and I'm healing my inner wounds.
Whoa, where are we going?
I'm listening to my headphones that are what are they? They're like what do they call
Bose.
them? Yeah, but they're sound canceling, noise canceling. And I'm just listening to this guy's reel on repeat. It's about a minute, and it's speaking right to my inner wounds, right? And I'm just sitting there. I'm just getting all healed and congealed and just loving my life. My food's cooking. My eyes are closed, and I'm breathing in, and I'm breathing out. And on one of these breaths out, with my very thin lips puckered, old big lip Jessie comes sleuthing through the kitchen with her aloe socks on, so nobody knows she's there. And as soon as I blow out, you blow in. And here we go. Big kiss on the lips.
Actually, I was like coming downstairs, I see you, I was like, he doesn't see me. And then you were like, out of nowhere when I went lean in, I was like, whoa. And then I waited for you to be done blowing, and then I went in. It was like the whole process.
That's so great. I love it. Well, let's talk about our special subject that we've been dying to talk about, and that is how marriage is a mirror and your helpmate is a healer. Yes. To heal all those special trauma wounds.
They're so special. They make you so special.
They do. And we all have them. And
yes,
our ego hates to have them rocked.
Yep.
And, but yet it is the only way to grow. So the temptation is to lash and bash and slash and gash your partner.
Is it?
It is.
It is.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm a slasher, baby. Let's fucking go. And yet, in all reality, these are, if you don't have a wound there, you won't react. And I'm finding, there's so many wounds I thought I healed, and I realized they weren't healed, they hid. They went into hiding.
Keep going. Keep going.
This is getting good.
This is good.
And I realized because of my wounds that actually you have a lot. So let's talk about yours today. No, we don't ever have to talk about yours because you don't like to talk about yours. But I'll talk about mine. No, the truth of the matter is we all have them. But it's our most intimate, closest partner that tends to be the one that really reveals them. And that's what I think that's what makes them sting so much. But without the sting, I don't know if we pay attention. And so anytime we see a guy, he loses a girl, the pain instantly becomes the professor. He's instantly in class, whether he wanted to enroll in it or not. It's like, you're in class, motherfucker. And you're like, but I don't want to be here. Well, too bad. Yeah. You're here. And it's these things that we do to one another that cause us so much consternation. And yet, if you just grasp the fact that, okay, I'm feeling these things because something's going on inside of me. If you were to tell me that you thought I was the most disgusting black man you've ever met, and you started calling me the N-word.
Oh, God.
And you were calling me all sorts of nasty names. None of them would have an effect on me. Why? Because you don't have that wound. My identity isn't that. I'm not that. So I'd be like, oh, she's got the wrong guy. Like,
she's delusional.
Yeah. So we need to get her prescription fixed on her glasses because apparently she doesn't understand color. It's the same. So when I think of that analogy and then I think about shit that works me up and things that get me riled up, I just go, okay, well, what is going on? I've not always been good at this. I don't even know that I'm good at this now, but I know that I'm aware of it. And I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Because there's no way that I'm ever I don't want to live the rest of my life being triggered by other people. To me, that seems like a weakness. And it's not necessarily, maybe it's a weakness, maybe it's a wound. I don't like even talking about inner child healing, trauma, wounds. I hate saying that shit off my lips. Probably because I think I grew up with a grandpa that flew into fucking Nazi Germany in a parachute and communicated with his friends via cricket clickers on the beaches of Normandy. And if these guys were to talk about their inner child wounds and healing, like nobody would listen to them. I'm not saying they're right, but I'm saying I come from that lineage of a man that's like, no, dude, and then built a bricklaying company that was radically successful. So it's like I come from like men, like real and that's on my mom's side, who I didn't really get to know them that much because his wife was such a horrible human being. But then I look at my grandpa, who ran Grandpa George. He ran grocery stores and was understood. No, he was a workaholic as well. So I just think these men, I didn't grow up hearing about this type of stuff. Yeah. And if we did, it was like, what are you, gay? You know what I mean? What are you talking about? All your stupid feelings? Like that's the era and generation I grew up in.
Mostly everyone, because that's how it was.
Yeah.
Then.
So. Yeah. But then I get triggered by shit and I go, what the fuck is it?
Yeah, because if you don't heal those wounds and it's okay to have wounds, then you're just going to keep carrying them on.
Yeah. I thought marriage was, maybe I went into marriage thinking my wife is supposed to heal my wounds.
Wow.
And you don't.
Or soothe you at all times when you're triggered, right? Yeah.
You fucking hit my wounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, hey, what's this? You're like, that's a fucking wound. Hey, that's a wound, lady.
Yeah.
You're like, well, that's not going to work around here. We can't be walking around with wounds. So I'm having a new perspective. I always tell people, like, especially the guys that come in and go, how do you know all the answers? I go, I don't fucking know all the answers. I just know all your answers. Yeah. Because I've already been down the path that you're going down. I'm still bumbling along figuring out my answers. The problem with that is I don't have a lot of people to fucking call. I've got one friend that I call when I have like an issue. And I'll be like, yo, Adam, what do you think about this?
To vent.
Just to vent. He's the only guy that I've ever met that has as good or better game than me. And it's not even that it's better. It's just I need an outside perspective of somebody who has a similar experience as me, where truly pussy is abundant, has had lots of it, understands how to get certain things and certain people to do certain things by just understanding the sequence and like hit A and watch what happens when it comes out to Z. And I go, I don't know any other guy like that. Do you know any of my friends?
No.
Not one. You know one. Adam. That's it. None of my friends. I can't go to any of my other friends. Now, this sounds like I'm crying, but it's more like, okay, so what do I do?
Right.
I'm sitting in this fucking inner wound and going, all right, well, I hate these words because it sounds weak to me, but I don't like feeling it. Yeah. So I'm either going to use the words that I know and try and figure this out and heal myself, or I'm going to continue to bleed on everybody. And I have a front row fucking seat watching all these guys bleed on other people around them. And I go, dude, can we heal this? Recognizing I'm not fucking perfect. I also have that. Brian, can we check our AC as well, brother?
You hot?
Thanks. It's just getting warm.
So what are the things that you're struggling with right now specifically?
I'm not going to say it online because I would rather work through it with you and figure out the thing, because it's you that stir it up. It's nobody else.
Well, I don't want to talk about like your childhood wound or whatever. I just kind of what was surfacing for us.
Well, what do you think it is?
Well, see, last night we were talking about this, and I didn't want to say because I want to work through it myself too, right?
Yeah, so I don't want to. We're not that couple that
argues
in front of people and airs our dirty laundry, because I can just say, hey, there's things that bother me. Yeah. There's things that are working me up, and there's things that I know that the healing is, the answer is always within. So it's not like I want to say, here, well, because you do this, you do this, you do this. Because here's the truth of the matter. Even though there's things that you do that trigger me and they're 100% my wound, you're still responsible for your side of the street. And you've got to work on these things for you as well. And the same things I trigger in you, I need to work on those things as well. But I my preference is not to air them before we understand them. Mm-hmm. For this only main reason is I know a lot of people, like they literally, and I see it in our coaching groups, I know it's got to happen in this free platform we have, where they'll take what we say and try to apply to their context, and it's not the right context, and so therefore it won't garner a result, and then therefore they will feel led astray.
So they're still like in the fog of it, and they haven't worked all the way through it to let people.
It's literally like, because everybody is like, why hasn't he done a jujitsu analogy yet? It's literally like,
who is this guy? I don't even know him right now.
Hey, where's the jujitsu? I came here for the jujitsu analogy.
No, they did not.
It's like a white belt watching a black belt class. And this happens because I will roll with a lot of the upper belts, the brown belts and black belts on a Saturday every once in a while. Mm-hmm. And they're working on shit that literally seems like Mandarin Chinese.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, like, how do we do that? And my coach is like, well, you're going to need this and this and this and this understanding. And this is why there's a belt system. So you kind of know where you're at.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes if I go, hey, I'm struggling with this, they might be like, what world are you even living in? Mm-hmm. And then how does that apply to my life? And it's like, well, it actually doesn't. Yeah. So this is why.
We like to give good nuggets of serious, like, this is exactly how it works
it's
for us.
Not just voyeurism messy. That people listen to this show. Although I'm sure there's a piece of that that's like, what does a real couple who actually likes each other but also fights every once in a while, what do they really sound like when they talk with each other? This is what I hear every time we jump on a call and people want to join the program. They're like, man, I've listened to so many of your podcasts. I really enjoy the way, I love listening to how you and Jesse talk.
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't want this just to be.
Well, that's our normal way of talking. It's just, we do get hangups too. So we want to be honest about that too. That we run into a brick wall too.
I can tell you the biggest fundamental, because even as you go up to black belt, like my coach is saying, is like, he goes, Keith, like, it's still, everything is based off of the fundamentals. We just are way better at the fundamentals than you. And sometimes it's like the littlest shift. Like if I build a frame like this, I can hold hundreds of pounds of weight this way. But if my arm is 3 inches over, it collapses under 20 pounds. That's a big fucking, but it's a small, you as a watcher, you wouldn't know the difference. But as
that's a great analogy.
As a jujitero, I would know, and I can understand, like, I can hold you up. I can hold all 300 pounds of you right here. But if my elbow is slightly this way, I'm done. So in that context, I can tell you the basic fundamental thing that I always remind myself of, and I actually believe it now, like I truly believe it, which is helps me release any rage I have, like towards you or towards a situation. And that is, Jesse has never sat around once and thought, how can I hurt Keith?
Right.
So it's like, I know that. I go, okay, this lady's
start from there.
She's not trying to hurt you.
Yeah.
But she is probably hurt by you.
Yes.
Which is meaning you're a reflection or a mirror or a button pusher of where she's actually hurt on the inside of her. And if she remembers, which I think you're really good at this actually, kind of.
It takes reflection and
takes
time
a
and
minute and it takes a day.
For both of us, literally for both of us.
And for you to go, okay, wait, Keith has never literally sat around and go, I wonder how I could hurt her. It's never happened. So I know I've never done it. I know you've never done it. So that like takes the initial, it's like the first cold press on your big old fucking bruise. You're like, that kind of feels good.
Yeah.
All right. Now I still got this big fucking situation to deal with in my mind, but at least I know I'm on the right path when I go, she is not malicious. She does not mean to hurt me. She can probably tell I'm hurt. Probably knows this is his own inner shit. And also, I'm not backing down from my point because I feel powerful and I feel not powerful. I feel right. I feel correct in my stance of this particular thing. So I think those are the fundamentals that anybody could take from white belt to black belt and beyond. Is if you ask yourself honestly, is my partner really genuinely trying to hurt me? The answer is no. In fact, second fundamental, they're actually trying to communicate their own hurt. So they're not trying to hurt me. They're trying to communicate their own hurt. And by them communicating their own hurt, it then triggers some sort of inner child wound in me that goes, I can't hurt anybody. I can't let anybody down. Oh, when she says this, I feel like I failed at my job, and I'm now, fuck her. Doesn't she know? And then boom, the whole thing goes off, and I was like, okay, well, can we go back to the fundamentals? She's not trying to hurt you. She's trying to communicate her own hurts. And so those are the fundamentals, I think, basically of it. Would you agree, or do you have anything to add to that?
No, I definitely agree. Communicating what's bothering you is the hard part, right?
I think so.
Trying to voice what you're frustrated about, or even like you're like, I'm feeling some type of way, I don't even know. Like I'm just, So voicing your thoughts, your hurt, your pain, your problem is very difficult. And I think trying to get clearer on that and then voicing it in a way that your partner's gonna hear is important.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to start this huge fight and it just continue and continue.
Mm-hmm.
You want to just get clear on what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And try to say that in a nice way.
How did you get your things to go like that?
This?
Yeah.
Curling iron.
It's got the little swoop under it's like frames your face.
Thank you.
Yeah. I like it. So we're talking about, first and foremost, start off with grace. And then use your curling iron to get your bangs to wrap around your face. Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying here? Yeah, it's interesting stuff about like what we deem. There's always, I don't want to say there's always something, because there's not always something. And it does feel like there's always something that we're working on. And that gets a little exhausting at times. Even we could have 2 or 3 weeks of just total fucking peace and pleasantries and paradise and all the things. And then something kicks it right back up.
It's usually kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Feels like it is for us.
Yeah.
Feels like it is for us. Yeah.
It's like the same thing pop up again.
Yeah. It reminds me, I was talking to a guy that came into our program, and I said, we have a tool, an app called Voxer that we use so they can communicate to me what's going on. You've seen this happen a million times. And so they'll speak into this voice app and tell me what's going on. And a lot of guys feel like they don't want to bother me. I know you're a busy guy. I go, dude, I'm busy loving on you. That's my job. You guys pay me. If you're a paying client of mine, like I care so fucking deeply about you, and we're going to solve your problem come hell or high water. So don't ever feel like you're bothering me by sending me these things. I love it. And I said, in fact, there's probably a lot of you guys that think, oh, this is just, this happened on my anniversary. It's just once a year. So I'm not going to bother Keith with it because it only comes around once a year. And I said, that's a lie. Because whatever you're feeling in that moment means it's living inside of you. And I can almost guarantee you it's showing up in a lot of others. It's the same thing showing up in a lot of other situations. So even if you think, oh, that's a one-off, send me a Voxer and tell me what the hell is. Even if you've already, quote unquote, solved it, tell me what the fuck is going on, because I can hear stuff with my ears about your journey, having already been through that. And the only reason I hear it so well is that brick wall you're running into, I have fucking scars on my forehead from bashing my head against it like 17 million times, only to realize, you can just step one step to the side and you can go around it.
Right.
So I can hear it. And oftentimes guys think all these incidences are isolated. They're not. They're not isolated. They are you showing up in this every situation, acting like you.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
No, yes.
But do you have anything to say on that?
No, that's what I was saying.
I know this is kind of like Keith's rant today, but
no, it's good though. It's true. It's true in our relationship. It is somewhat the same stuff because we're the same people and haven't handled that shit to make it not happen again.
Yeah.
So it's way easier to see on somebody else.
Yeah.
Because we're not in their fog, right? And you're like, that's so easy. Let me just fix it for you.
Yeah.
Tell you, the things. So.
You know who's been probably the greatest example of this? And of course, I'm going to say it's my best friend, but it is Garrett. I watched him step into environments that he's not comfortable in and doesn't know about, or radically insecure in, and say, I'm insecure about that. I don't know what to do here. Like, just admit everything. Almost to the point where I like cringe a little bit, like, God, that dude, you're so fucking honest. And he's like, well, how am I supposed to fix it if I don't tell you where the fuck I really am? I'm like, oh.
I love that.
It's so rare.
Yeah.
Being on, it's the hardest thing to get a man honest. And I believe that's why the only time a man truly gets as honest as he needs to be to actually grow is when the pain is so fucking deep that he's like, I don't know what else to do, so I might as well try telling the truth.
That's when he becomes a student. Bum, bum, bum.
Dude, that's really true.
It is true. That's why in relationships, when you have conflicts, like, you do grow, right? Because you're saying the truth and you're fixing what is bothering us. And so you become closer because you've worked through something hard together.
You've almost seen each other at your ugliest, and you're like, wow, that's fucking ugly. You smell like shit right now. I ran into the chiropractor and I saw Garrett. I was going to give him a nut tap, and Dr. Daniel called me out on my stealth moves. And then Garrett gave me a hug, and I'm like, hey, can we get you some mouthwash? I know you're really into these cigars, but you need a mouthwash. But that's how best friends are, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that's what happens when we hang, when like just you and I, we're like, I see your ugliness and I go, ooh, fuck you. And it's like, well, yeah, but you have just as ugly of ugliness.
Yeah.
That's also another fundamental truth in here. That would be fundamental number 3 for the white belts following along at home. Have grace, realize they're trying to communicate their hurt, and your shit stinks just as bad. Like it's so hard to see that your shit stinks when you're gagging over the smell of your partner's shit. It's so hard. It's almost impossible. Don't you agree?
I know you're talking most of the time and ranting or whatever, but I like it because, like I said, we do deal with our own shit, and you're like on here like working through it and thinking about it and realizing your shit stinks too. So like, I'm just listening and let you go. Like, I like it. I like this because it's helping us.
For any of you guys who have coaching businesses, this was the greatest piece of advice I ever got. Was build a coaching business around your true, authentic self. Just always be honest about where you're at, what's going on, and you never have to change your business.
Yeah.
And it gives it gives you the opportunity to go, oh, I'm fucking this up. Oh, I'm growing here. And you know, it's scary sometimes to like, hey, I'm fucking this up. But there will be times when I'll share with a client, one-on-one client, all the way down to just people in the group, doesn't matter. And I go, oh yeah, I just struggled with that last week.
Yeah.
And they go, what? And it's always a relief. It's always a relief. Like whenever I see like guys that I know that are doing great in business and like, oh man, I'm fucking struggling right now. I go, what do you mean? Like, I made some bad calls here. My cash is a little tight. I got to make this move. I go, really? You struggle with that too? Like, oh yeah, well I've been through that. Like I thought I was just the fucking loser business guy that didn't understand that. And then I'm realizing a lot of the winners, they're only winners because they've been through all of those fucking stages. And the growth of figuring those out is what gave them the muscle to fucking figure it out at a bigger level. And you go, oh, that's kind of fucking comforting.
Yep.
I don't know why your failure comforts me,
well.
but it's not a failure. It's the struggle. It's watching them struggle. It's the analogy I gave a guy. I said, I understand you're just learning how to bench press right now, but I want you to understand the same. I'm bench pressing too. I just have more plates on the bar, but I'm still bench pressing. And it's still fucking hard. And there's still days I don't want to do it. And there's still days where I'm like, God, this feels super heavy. but it doesn't change.
Right.
So you either get used to this feeling of soreness of lifting weights or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
These are the I'm just full of analogies apparently today.
No, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. And to be honest, you know, I was personally a little bit struggling. I'm like, I don't love to do podcasts when we're not like in a great space.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with retreating in. So for us to be this open and honest and to let people know like we hit the brick wall too, but it feels good. It does feel good. But we still got to do it. So we showed up, we're saying the real.
Yeah.
Of course we struggle with things too.
Yeah.
And people look at us like, oh, they're married game itself. Like we can't fight. Like, no, of course we do.
Yeah.
Of course we do.
Yeah. What a weird concept to think that just because somebody's advanced at something that they don't
still
struggle.
Mess up.
Like,
yeah,
or
struggle.
they don't,
We're not human now.
We're literally a part of the exact same gymnasium you are, dude.
Yeah.
It's the exact same fucking thing. Everything you're struggling with, we've struggled with, and sometimes still struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we continue to keep working through it in a way that gets us more mature,
Yeah.
heals more of our wounds.
Sure. We've just gotten better at it. Better at the fights. It doesn't get as intense, doesn't get as heated. We try to catch it before we spiral all the way down.
We don't say as mean as shit.
No, we don't.
That's the other thing.
We try to, and the fights are shorter
Yeah.
and smaller.
Yeah.
And we can still love through them.
Maybe the wound's getting smaller.
Mm.
Maybe you know how like if you ever had a cut and it just like it finally
You have to heal it while it's open. Like,
yeah, it just
do you know how wounds do that? You have to heal from the inside before it comes to the outside.
Yeah, so it's like
smaller and smaller.
Maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, we get to pick any analogy we want, so that fucking makes
We
sense.
can say whatever the fuck we want right now.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. I still love you.
Yeah. I think I'm learning to love me.
Mm.
That's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like at every layer and every level, I'm like, I tell a lot of the guys who are interested in like threesomes and like all this type of stuff, I said, the only thing you have to worry about right now, there's only one thing. You have to make sure your integrity is so fucking on point that there's a trust level that no matter what feeling they go through, they go, but I trust him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that starts at white belt. Like everything has to be built on trust. Like, for me to lie, it would kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I won't do it. I fucking hate lying. I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I despise it. Like I would vomit in my mouth if I had to lie right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you have learned to believe. Do you believe that?
Mm-hmm, I do.
Because there's so many, you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. And yet that is the thing that you have to build in yourself first. So I think that the trust thing, when the trust goes up, the lust goes up, that's a real thing. I think that the more you get closer to somebody, the more connected you feel, the closer you let that human in to see even the more real, raw animal version of you. And a lot of times you haven't even made peace with that animal yet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I haven't made peace with a lot of the animal in me.
Mm.
I've let him run wild.
Right.
And I don't know what he is a lot of times. I just know he loves to run wild.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that the only thing that has tried to bridle him is other people's dogma, other people's doctrine, and other people's ways of saying, you have to be this way. But the animal goes, you and what fucking army is going to stop me?
Yeah.
But he's still an animal. And he just fucking is an animal.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know him sometimes. And I don't even know why I love myself or don't love myself sometimes. I just go, this is super fucking odd. Why do I feel this?
Mm-hmm.
Of all people, I should not be feeling this. But yet I do.
Yeah.
And then why would I think of all people?
Right. If you're anything that special,
nothing.
You're still human like everybody else.
It's the only I feel like the only way you become the leader is you make the most fuck ups, so you just stop making them. You just go, well, that's so fucking dumb. I'm going to stop doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've got our new ads coming out. It's a new version of me. And I look at like literally everything else I've done in the past and go, it's all trash.
Yeah. Well, you weren't you right now. The best version of you.
But how much good have we done until this new version of me?
I know, but how much more?
So much.
I know.
But that's like when
you are so different though.
Yeah.
Like when I see the videos or I see you, I'm like, well, it's so interesting actually. Like I'm like, well, that guy is way different than this guy.
That is the eternal journey that all of us are on.
Yeah.
And you know what I think happens for couples is they'll see the new person emerge and the other person almost doesn't accept the new person.
The little kid in them doesn't accept that. Is it too hard for them?
The partner has a hard time accepting this new version of them. Yeah. It feels like every new version that comes out is more free, more authentic, and less bridled by societal bullshit. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is why old men say whatever the fuck they want, and old ladies just walk around with their
Look
boobs.
at my mom. She don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, like, and what are you going to do? Yeah. You're going to fucking tell me to stop?
Whatever she wants. She wears whatever she wants.
Yeah.
I like that about her, though. That's exciting.
But this must be the journey that old people walk through.
To not give a fuck anymore.
Well, that every new version of them that comes out is, I think most of it is just a passage of time for people, which is one thing, but their lives don't get better. I'm not on that journey. Mm-hmm. You're not on that journey. Mm-mm. We're on the journey of like, no, there's a version of us that is more abundant. There's a version of us that is more expansive. There's a version of us that is in charge of more resources, more emotions, more hearts, more impact. I don't know. I don't know why there are certain people that we just crave ascendance. We really, like, there's this version of us that we're always chasing, and it feels so fucking good to chase it. Mm. Not everybody feels this. Mm-hmm.
No, I like to get in my comfort zone sometimes, so it takes me a minute, but ultimately...
But it feels like change after a while.
Yeah, the real me likes it, but I struggle to stay in comfort sometimes, but I'm like, all right, let's go, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I think about it sometimes.
You know what trips me out the most is that you can look around society and you think every human is like a true miracle. Like all of the plumbing, like why like, have you ever wondered if your throat was going to detach from your mouth? No. You know why?
Because we're a miracle, ultimately. Is that where you're going with this?
Well, have you ever wondered, dude, I wonder if my big toe is ever going to just decide, you know what? Fuck this knuckle. We're not working anymore. It just doesn't happen. Yeah. It just doesn't happen. I've never thought, dude, I wonder if my large intestine is ever going to start to hate my small intestine and they're going to separate.
People have gut issues.
Do you follow what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I get it.
So we're a miracle. Like I've never thought, dude, I wonder if my esophagus just drops into my stomach and we're fucked. It's never crossed my mind. Have you ever thought, I wonder if the sun doesn't come up tomorrow? Like genuinely?
For a split second, like that would be crazy.
Yeah, but have you ever been like, dude, guys, don't go to bed. Why? Because the sun might not come up.
No.
Okay, so these things are miracles. Like genuine fucking miracles. And you look around all these humans and you go, we're all walking miracles. Mm-hmm. But there only seems to be like 1 or 2 to 3 to 5% of the people that actually recognize they're a miracle and are excited about growing as a human being. Whereas 95% of everybody else is like, fuck it. I'm
going to do the bare minimum as a human being.
I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Because I just go, well, we're all humans. We're all these little creators.
Yeah.
And yet 95% of them are all asleep. And yet there's these 5%, probably more like 2%, maybe only 1%, I don't know, that are like, no, dude, I'm awake and I want to get more awake.
Yeah.
And get more awake.
Yep. What motivates me is I don't want to be the norm. So I got to get out of my head and say, all right, let's do the hard. Because there's no other way for me, actually. But I cannot do the norm.
How is there 98% of people that don't give a fuck about that, but you and I were obsessed with it?
I don't know. I don't think like them.
Maybe this is what Jesus meant when he said the way is narrow and there will be few who find it. Because he always is talking about the word truth. And I think even some of the things that I'm learning right now about myself, I have to come to a realization of truth. Where I have to go, okay, the truth is this shit triggers you. The truth is it's triggered you for your whole life, and you've either put it down, pushed it around, built a coping mechanism around it. Like you've figured out how to work with this limp going on inside of you, and somehow you're running faster than most people. But in reality, you still got a fucking limp. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what he meant. Because it feels like there's not a lot of people actually giving a shit about like really, truly expanding in life.
I think this is the key therapy show.
I think so. I like
it.
It just boggles me. Like, why do I wake up every morning going, I want to get better? But 98 out of 100 people, they don't think that. They're just like,
another day at work.
Gotta go to work. And,
that 9 to 5.
Did you see you know who's playing this Saturday? This team's playing this team. It's going to be so good. You're like, and how does that benefit anything about your fucking life ever at all? Well, it doesn't.
Yep.
Hey, can we rearrange schedules? I got to watch my football game. You know what I mean? You're like, what is going on here?
It's my team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, don't be a nerd. No.
Don't be a nerd. Spread the word. So what's the big punchline? If you were to take away a big punchline from this episode, Jessie Joy, what would it be?
Number one.
Other than Keith's therapy session.
I know. I like it because I want to get into your head more. For me, I don't know about our listeners, but I'm going to like it. Mm-hmm. Number one is that we want to run into a brick wall as well. We struggle with things too. And let's all just be a little better. You know what I mean? Let's all just try a little harder.
Why? Why try?
To better your life.
Why get better?
For your wife, then for your kids, then for your grandchildren. Like, stop the generational trauma. That's what I'm working on. You know
the punchline that I've come up with for all of this? I came up with this a while ago. And I'm realizing and remembering it right now. Like, what's the fucking point of all this? Like, could you and I go? We could basically probably totally move into a different place and not retire forever, but like damn near retire forever.
Just live that normal life.
But it would kill us.
I would die inside.
It would absolutely fucking kill us.
I'm like a flower and I'd go like this and wilt away and die.
Yeah.
It's like an old man retiring and he just dies.
Yeah.
You gotta have like purpose and a drive.
I go, what's the point? 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 And I think this is the punchline for me is quality of life.
To live this life the best way you can.
To experience.
All the experiences in life.
Yeah.
I do. I want to.
I want to experience.
You want to do it with me?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Yeah, I fucking do. You keep triggering my fucking wounds, and I'm gonna get healed one day.
To poke it, like,
I'm gonna get healed one of these days, and the world's not gonna know what to do with a healed Keith Yackey.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think it's quality of life. When it boils right down to it, it's like I want to experience the greatest quality of life, the greatest freedom, the greatest. Yeah, I got lots of thoughts. So, hey, hopefully that was helpful. Fucking, don't be a nerd. Spread the word.
I've got my phone right there.
Don't be a geek. Unleash your inner freak. And if you're a guy listening to this and saying, man, I just want to be better. Well, that's what we do at Married Game. We can help you get better. The whole goal of marriedgame.com is real simple, to help you become a better man. And when you're a better man, that's the man who your wife fell in love with, and that's the guy who your wife wants to have fun with. So go to marriedgame.com if you're sitting here going, fuck, I'm struggling with some stuff and I don't have the answers the way these guys do. And you probably don't have a dog like I do, who's acting very rebellious in her teenage years right now. She's very, are you rebellious?
What to do?
No, she apparently is really feeling it. All right, with that being said, keep on crushing it, because that shit is contagious.